Welcome, fellow travelers, to the third episode of A Young Man's Perspective. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is very close to our hearts. This is your co-host, Marcus.
And your other co-host, Spencer.
And this topic that's very close to us is an area in which I think our generation is absolutely atrocious at, is discipline. You know, discipline, if you listen to any of the success gurus, the personal development gurus, discipline is the key factor that will determine the course of your life. Do you have it? Do you possess it or not? And I think that's very absolutely true, and it's applicable to both of our lives as we dive into this video. You know, really begin to think about some areas in which you guys are personally struggling with. You know, are you spending too much time on your phone? Are you procrastinating on your homework? Are you not showing up on time to work? You know, are you failing to mend those relationships you know that you need to? Is your pride getting in the way? Just the area of discipline to kind of control your emotions and your thoughts is absolutely critical to developing character, because discipline and being able to say no to negative situations, negative people, negative thoughts, negative environments is critical to establishing character. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree, but the only question I would have for you is how would a person of aspiring character, young character, how would they go about building such discipline?
So I think the first step is to recognize the areas in which you are lacking. Are you staying up late at night? Okay, if that's your case, just apply this logic to every scenario. But let's use the example, you're staying up late on your phone. The first thing is to separate your phone from the activity that you're doing, whatever that activity is, right? Put your phone in a different room. Buy an actual alarm clock. They do exist. I promise you, Walmart still sells them. So get an actual alarm clock, right? Because that's generally the excuse we use to having our phones in the same room. Oh, I use it for my alarm clock. Don't give yourself that leeway of an excuse, right? Get an alarm clock. Separate the phone from your activities at night. Go to bed an hour earlier so that you have time to decompress and your thoughts will go out and you'll be able to relax and you'll fall asleep at an appropriate time. But it's a discipline to say the phone in the room with me is a bad disaster that has been reoccurring for the last few months. So I just think using that logic can definitely change a person's perspective, I guess, on developing discipline. It's just recognizing and responding to the negative stimuli in your life.
And I like what you said about the alarm clock, about not giving yourself the excuse, because in an attempt to explain self-discipline, you explained it two different ways, basically, or the same way, is that's what we generally do when we try to use self-discipline or not use it, is we give ourselves an excuse. Like if you're going in for food, I worked out today. I earned it. I want that extra food. Instead of having the self-discipline to say the almighty powerful word no.
Huge word.
I just think that's something that's very important. Is it's not just self-discipline. It's also we're setting ourselves up for failure in certain circumstances by allowing an ease of access or back road to exist for us to go back to our old habits or bad habits or continue the bad habits.
Most definitely. And think about the word no as an absolute uppercut to personal disaster, because discipline will change your careers, it will change your relationships, it will change your productivity, it will change your health, it will change your mental health, it will change your physical health. The word no, oh my gosh, the comprehension of the power of word no, it's incomprehensibly powerful, and ain't nobody using it. It's like, it blows my mind when I finally discovered the power of no, right? It's a simple word, like I said before, that is literally an uppercut to the throat of self-destruction, because you prevent yourself by falling into those traps by setting yourself up for success, right? If you do your homework on Monday, right, and your week goes to crap on Wednesday, you still have all of your homework done, right? If you do your homework, if you delay your homework and your life goes to crap on Wednesday, you still got all your homework to do in the negative interaction that you had afterwards, right? So discipline allows you to focus in the moment on what is important, right? Like for me, I try to plan my day the day before, right? The night before, I'll think about it like, okay, I have these things I need to do, right? And those are the first things I try to get done in the morning, right? Because now I'm stress free, I'm relaxed, right? But what was the power that allowed me to do that? The simple discipline to, one, wake up early enough using that alarm clock. Two, the power to figure out what I need to do prior. So in the morning, when I'm lackadaisical and kind of like all over the place, I already know what I need to do. Bada bing, bada boom. I got my list. I'm going to start working on it, right? Then you accomplish more by 12 o'clock than the rest of the world will do by their 5 o'clock because you used your most productive hours to do those things. And it's very aggravating to me when people are like, I have the right to do all of these things. You totally have the right to be stupid. Is it wise? No, it's not, right? So use logic and understand that, right? Use discipline now to set yourself up for a lifetime of success versus delaying it and setting yourself up for a life of failure. That's the power of the word no, and that's the power of self-discipline.
And to, further put that power of word no into perspective, I just want, whoever's viewing this to just think about some of the past mistakes and decisions that you've made, whether it was a relationship or whether it was greed, whatever it was, replay that. And what would have happened if you said the word no? Would the outcome have been different? Would you have been more successful? Would some positive interaction came about that bettered your life if you had said the word no? That is the power of the word no.
That was an excellent point. Reflect on the yeses you've given and be like, what if I had put a no there? How much would that have changed the course of my life? For example, toxic relationships. It's very sad to see the amount and the percentages of relationships nowadays that are toxic, right? And there's always one person that kind of knows they shouldn't be in there, right? They know they should have said no, they don't feel right, and yet they stay in it, and they literally walk down a knowing path of self-destruction. Why? Because they're lacking the ability to say no. That's the epitome of self-discipline, is to apply the word no to the areas in your life in which most people wouldn't.
And again, I think the whole reason, referring back to our other video, that the reason no can be so challenging is because we don't like change. We like to live in comfort. We like to live in pleasure. So in addition to analyzing what it is that you need to change and discipline yourself on, you need to have the will to carry that through. You need to be able to see the power of the word no and the positive effects, and using that self-discipline and what potential positive success and impact it can have on your career.
Yeah, most definitely, and kind of, changing the courses a little bit. But I think the three top areas of which discipline is lacking nowadays is one, waking up early in the morning.
Time management.
Yeah. Two, the use of electronics or the misuse of electronics. And three, within personal relationships you have. I think those three areas are because this channel's largely about character, you can go all in down the finance stuff, but that's not the point of this.
Yeah.
We're trying to hone in on what makes you a good person, and self-discipline is absolutely critical to that. And people fail to recognize that oftentimes because all you see is the discipline of finance, the discipline of managing your money well, right? But
it is important.
Yeah, but what about managing yourself well? What about setting yourself up to be happy with the person you are? We overlook these things that make us happy. Money will never make you happy, but looking in the mirror and being like, I did a good job. I took care of myself when I was young. I behaved well when I was young. I'm successful because of the decisions I've made, and I've lived a good life in which my conscience is still intact. That is the quality of life that you can live if you choose to make the decisions of discipline now. It will not happen. You do not deserve that right. You will not have that right until you make those decisions. And it makes me very angry that people don't understand this and don't apply it to their life. You could be a multimillionaire and be absolutely unforgiving with yourself and hate yourself. You could be the most broke person in the world and be the happiest person in the world. It doesn't have anything to do with it. After you make $50,000 a year, statistically in America, anything after that, money has nothing to do with happiness at all. Zero. Nothing. Right? And so if that's the case, money should not be what is put first, but the ability to look in the mirror, like I said before, and say, I love the person that I am. Right? And if you are making bad decisions, you shouldn't love the person that you see in the mirror. right? You should recognize, like, hey, I'm not living up to my potential. I'm not being the best version of myself, and I know that. So let's make movements to go better. And the moment that you take that self-criticism to a point of being like depressed, you've also made a decision of yes in which you should have said no, right? Depression is one of the worst things that I've ever been able to witness in my own life. Between my friends, myself, the way that depression touches people is unbelievable, right? And it's horrifying. But again, it comes back to the basic power of the word no. Are you going to say no to self-loathing to the point where it reaches depression? Or are you going to say absolutely not, I'm better than this, I'm stronger than this, and start to change your life?
So I really like what you said about managing yourself, because it reminded me of the video that you just sent me recently. And within the first like 30 seconds of the video, this guy is asking, I think it was a business question. I can't totally remember.
Well,
he was asking about investing in other things, and the guy basically, he responded and he said, you should not invest in other things until you invest in yourself. And he said that it's something that's, you have a bunch of finance gurus and stuff out there that are telling you to invest in this and invest in that, but even those finance gurus themselves have not invested in themselves. So it's just very important, as you were saying, and you went on your little rant, just invest in yourself, manage yourself, and the rest will follow.
Hands down, and I don't want to, I could go on this for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
But we don't want to repeat ourselves.
Yeah, but just focus on the quality of the person that you are above anything else, right? If the pursuit of money is your demon and it takes away from being a good person, learn to let it go. If you're working 60 hours a week when you have a family in which your top priority should be your kids, reevaluate. Wherever you are in your life, remember the priorities that you have, use the power of no, and change your life for the better. And that's ultimately what this community and this channel is about, is building that lifestyle to better suit yourself in the moments in which you feel weak.
So with that being said, guys, we got a couple of platforms that are linked down below. Go ahead and check them out. We got a Twitch, we got a Discord, we got an Instagram, and we also have a Patreon up and running. So as we've stated multiple times, might be getting old, but it's like our little ending line now. We're both tight on money. We're college kids. So if you would love to donate and help this podcast grow, if you like the content you're seeing here, that'd be awesome. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our video.
And please share this video with your friends. If there's someone that's kind of off the tracks, if you know what I mean, give it to them. Give them as a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of advice. And we will see you guys in the next one.
All right, stay safe.